Creator, hear our prayers. We pray for the answers that are needed.
The National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Its task, to examine past and present systemic violence and look to the future. Before the final report's 231 calls for justice and before the conclusion that the violence amounted to a genocide, CPAC was there for the community hearings across Canada. Commissioners began in Whitehorse, where for 3 days in the spring of 2017, they heard agonizing testimony from families and survivors about lives stolen and other lives forever altered.
I'm still grieving her death and from her being taken away from the family in such a violent way, such a tragic way.
She was the fourth one to die in this man's company. And they were all First Nation women, except one. And that's how come he was charged, was the last one wasn't from the streets. She wasn't a streetwalker. There's many stories like Mary's. She had a loving family. But because of her being raised away from her family in residential schools, she didn't have the tools of the streets.
On May 8th, 1992, my mother's body turned up in the Nicola River. She was 22 years old. I grew up an only child, often wondering why my mother was not around. My heart was filled with anger, loneliness, and frustration. I was often jealous of girls who had their mothers. I was angry I couldn't share my milestones with my mother like they were.
When I heard about my daughter, it broke my heart. It felt like a big void. My grieving path led me everywhere. They say your grieving cycle goes around in a circle, but mine was all over.
I got 3 beautiful boys out there, and I can't even tell them I love them because I don't know what the heck that word means. I got beautiful grandchildren, and I'm scared to go and see them because I don't know how to love them. That's what happened, what took them from me. When they took my mom, when mom died, I hear words all the time. I don't want words anymore. I want action. I want action. That's what I want. No more words. No more saying things. I want action.
In my age, most of the women are second or third generation survivors. And that being taught, don't speak, don't talk about anything. They grow up with low self-esteem. They have trauma issues. They have low education, no identity, no worth, no respect for themselves. They're just lost. I was there. I was absolutely lost. I didn't know who I was. All those bad relationships made me strong. Now, I'm not standing for that ever again in my life, and no other woman should. We're worth more than that. We deserve more than that. And that's where we need to go.
In 3 days, we've heard many stories of loss. We've heard anger. We've heard pain. But we've also heard courage and strength and hope.